Meeting of council. First item would be adoption of the agenda. Adoption, all those in favor? That's carried. I just wanted to make note that we got word this afternoon that our boundary extension for the Hector Road Aspen area has been approved by the cabinet, and there will be a formal press release on that. As you may recall, that was something we had approved in the end of June, and so I think the main reason why that's been done so quickly is, according to the email I saw, our deputy corporate administrator has now created the gold standard for boundary extension applications, which are going to be used elsewhere. So kudos to you for all your work. There you go. So we'll, as I say, have a formal press release on that in the next day or so. So we don't have any delegations this evening. First, then we'll deal with minutes of meetings for approval the September 7th council meeting.
Move. Second.
On approval then, all in favor? Motion's carried. The committee of the whole then for receipt the minutes of September 14th.
Move receipt. Second.
On receipt then, all in favor? Motion's carried. Recommendations coming forward from that committee are firstly that the Comox Valley Chamber of Commerce Governance Task Force be provided with a letter of support regarding the request for funding and assistance from the provincial government to conduct the governance review in Comox Valley.
Move.
Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Regarding Beckton Avenue parking, that council retained the no parking zones as per the engineering design of Beckton Estates Phase 2.
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion? Councilor Arnott.
Well, I think I said a lot last week, but I am disappointed in the outcome of that, but I will support council's motion.
Go ahead, Councilor.
And we have had at least one letter saying thank you. Keep the signs because it's a lot safer now. So it's one of these difficult situations where we can't please everyone. Safety, I guess, trumps.
And enforcement will be the issue now, of course. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Pickleball feasibility study, that staff report we received from the Park Superintendent, be forwarded to the Pickleball Association and Regional District, and regarding also the Emerald Sea Engineering geotechnical report.
I'll move that.
Second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. And the last committee recommendation was for the award of the janitorial services contract to Big Island Building Services in the amount shown for a term of 2 years commencing October 1st.
I'll move that.
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor.
Yeah, two questions. How much are we saving on this new contract to what the other one was going to go if we would have extended it? And the other question is, why did we go with 2 years for the term when we were always looking at extending the previous one? Why didn't we go with 3, 4, 5 year?
Okay, well, let's see how we get going.
First question, in terms of how much we're saving, I believe it currently would be about $7,000 from the current amount that we're paying for janitorial services. And in response to the second question, in terms of a 2-year term, there was a concern related to the amount of hours that the contractor is estimating based on the current level. So it's just more to have a shorter term.
A little wiggle room. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All those in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to unfinished business, we have the management report for receipts.
Move receipt.
Second.
Receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. I don't think there's anything else to update on. I think that's fairly up to date. So unless there's something else, we'll move on. Special reports would be the receipt of the Regional District Board meeting minutes of August 30th.
Move.
Second.
On receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. So that brings us to page 21. This is the rezoning and development variance permit application for 611 Colby Road. Staff have brought us a report with a recommendation.
I'll move to agree.
Second.
Move to second. All right, discussion.
Go ahead, Councillor.
So I'm going to vote that we do not allow this development. And I know what we've been doing over the years. We've been encouraging this type of growth for affordable housing. I think this one's a little different to me because it was built as a garage. It just kind of morphed into this house that kind of sits there. And I think we do owe it to the community that when we allow these, that they are built to a certain standard. So I'm not in favor of allowing this.
Other speakers? Councillor Swift?
Well, I am in favor of it. I think throughout our province, municipalities are looking for affordable housing options, and this might be one of them. Although I know the letter that we got from the owner just suggested it was going to be used for occasional relatives and friends that were visiting. The garage is there already. This might be a different conversation if it wasn't there already. And I think some of the modifications that the planning department is looking for regarding screening and parking goes a long way to making it fit better into the neighborhood. So I'm in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McKinnon?
Yes, I wonder if our CEO can elaborate a little bit on those suggested modifications that the town has suggested.
Yes, we're looking at some additional landscaping screening requirements, essentially using western red cedar to allow it to grow to a certain height. Western red cedar grows relatively quickly, so it's suggested that would be a good species to add some screening. And there's also a requirement to move parking space to the north side of the building, which was addressed as a concern, I think, at the public hearing. And there was some gardening or landscaping requirements in front.
So these would be expected of this property?
Yes, and this is part of the outstanding items list that would have to be completed prior to bringing this forward to council for adoption.
I just want to clarify that.
It'll be secured by covenant contact. So that subsequent owners will know about it. Councillor Grant?
Yes, you want me to go? Okay. You know, I'm all for this kind of housing and this kind of project. I like. What I don't like about this is the fact that it was done in advance, and that kind of bothers me a little bit, especially when the one neighbor really does lose a lot of their privacy. And I think if they were to have done this properly at the beginning, that may not be the case. So that bothers me on this particular one. So I won't be supporting this.
Okay, Councillor Arnott?
Can I confirm also, I can't find it right now, but there is going to be a variance request because of the setback? Am I correct in reading that?
I believe this is covered in the zoning amendment, but our planner can speak to that perhaps.
Correct. The difference in setbacks that is required between a garage and the accessory a coach house, in this case, it would be to decrease the rear setback from 2 meters to 1.6. There's also a proposed increase in the maximum gross floor area needed for a coach house from 70 to 72 square meters, and exclusion from the adaptable housing requirements.
Any other speakers to the matter? One thing I just wanted to ask, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the previous report on this that was received at council, this current applicant is perhaps the third owner of this property?
Correct.
They didn't build a garage.
They did not build a garage. They have never occupied it as a coach house. The two previous owners did.
Right, and I know that we had bylaw enforcement actions in regard to at least one of those previous owners. Well,
To both.
So essentially what we're trying to do is rectify the situation. Okay. All right, so any further speakers? Seeing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of the application? Those opposed? Application is passed. All right, so under new business, just maybe wait a second here. right, so Councillor Arnott brought this matter to our attention about the Salvation Army Community Council and is seeking, I guess, guidance from council in that regard as to an appointment to that committee. So I'll maybe let Councillor Arnott speak to it and then figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, the Salvation Army did send their manual out. I hope all the council had a chance to look it over. I was just invited, I think I was actually representing you at a dinner, and I really liked what they were doing for the community, and I understand the religious component to this, but for me it's not about that. It is just as a representative from the community, or from the council to the Salvation Army to perhaps add comment to our community needs and so on. And Courtney and Cumberland also have representatives on this community council, and I thought it would be good if Comox had the same. And regardless of the outcome, I will continue to participate and help them be guided along.
Sure. One thing I noticed under the membership category, E.1, it talked about each member serving as a private individual rather than a representative of a specific interest group. So I'm not sure what capacity Courtney and Cumberland is.
That's my question.
Councillor McKenna.
I was going to ask the same question. And I know there's other committees that council members, I know I go to a few, not appointed by the council here, to go sit on the board, but sit out of interest and bring back information to our council. So there's that option as well, and I admire Councillor Arnott for his initiative here and connecting with their good work. I'm wondering if that might be an option, if it presents a problem, but I don't know what the other councils are doing, if they are appointments.
I don't know. I think
I've wondered that a lot.
the concern that we have had to deal with over the years is that when you get appointed to a committee, you got to watch conflict of interest, obviously, rules. You also have to be careful not to become necessarily an advocate for that organization, because of course you are there as a councillor for this community, and maybe a liaison position. Of course, had to deal with all that in other committees where funding was being received from municipalities. So there's certainly nothing to stop anyone like yourself, Councillor Kinner, or Councillor Hunter, wherever, from being on whatever committees and just not necessarily being appointed by council. And I suppose the option of appointment is still there, but when I read about the private individual rather than representation, I mean, they're going to know that Councillor Arnott's there and he does have a role to play at the town of Comox, so be a liaison, I suppose, if there's no appointment.
I thought he saw the Canada and Bermuda territory.
Well, you didn't see that fine print, but
Councillor Beck.
Although hats off Councillor or not, I think you're doing a great job representing town, person, whatever, in the Salvation Army. But I do have a concern, because I see this as a potential for unfair advantage to other churches, which you have mentioned, and of course to other societies. That does concern me. I think it could set a precedent that could become very challenging for council. So continue your good work there, but I
leave my
can't
badge.
support the...
And I respect all those comments, that's fine.
Well, I think just out of clarity, it was good to bring this forward. We don't necessarily have to have an appointment, and certainly Councillor Arnott for you to represent.
Yeah.
I also remember some years ago that we had appointments to everything and everywhere and all over the place, and it just got very onerous to go to all of the things. And in most cases, you were going to those and actually acting as a citizen rather than a council member anyways. So we sort of put an effort into getting off of some of those.
All right, well, it's good to know what the community council does and how they're seeking community input. I think that's really what this is all about.
That's good.
Thankfully, we've got that information, so unless there's somebody who wants to make any motions, we'll just move on to the next thing, which is the planning report referral around the OCP regional context statement, staff are seeking confirmation that the current context statement be submitted for continued acceptance, and this is from us to them, of course.
Move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. I note that we've reference to, for example, the coach house and some of the additions to the OCP we've made in the last couple months. They can update their records accordingly. I believe that's it for agenda items, other than reports from members of council. So I'll start. On September 9th, we participated in the Mayor's Golf Tournament. The Mayor's entry from Comox, Team Comox, didn't win any trophies. We had a lot of fun and represented well. I understand that $25,000 was raised in this year's tournament, which brings it up over $200,000 in the last 8 years. And beneficiaries of that will include Larch, North Island College, the Air Cadets, and other organizations. So good on everyone for participating in that. Also participated in the Positive Aquaculture Awareness Golf Tournament the next day at Glacier Greens, and that was well attended. The Wing Commander Open House the following day also at Glacier Greens. Last Friday night, participated with the other mayors in a presentation at the Alano Club in Courtenay, a plaque presentation for the late Stanley Kagan, and acknowledgement of his role in keeping that organization, or getting that organization going, and of course served the community well over the last number of years. Attended another fundraiser at the Larch for the pig roast and the dessert auction. And they are well underway in construction for their building in Courtenay. And they're coming out, I think, on the first floor now, so if anyone's driving over that area, you can see them taking shape. And they are looking for donations of furnishings of appropriate style. So if you have anything you want to get rid of that's in good shape, get a hold of Larch and they can use the help. The Battle of Britain ceremony was held this past Sunday at the base chapel. And then went out to the Mountain Air Indian Rescue Society, their new lands off of Williams Beach Road and the Old Island Highway. It was representing the Island Coastal Economic Trust, where the grant of $236,000 was announced for their new visitor center, which of course will take shape over the next year. And saw lots of neat things out there, so look forward to that getting open. And then today had a lunch meeting with our economic development officer and one of the local Comox Mall owners about their application, which, to my understanding, will come forward to council on October 5th, all things going well. So that's coming along, and I think you'll see some pretty exciting things happening there. It's my report, so Councillor Markgraf.
Yes, thank you. I attended our Vancouver Island Regional Library meeting on Saturday. Very, very interesting meeting, much to report, and I'm going to space it over a period of time. But today, just a little heads up, I don't know if people are aware of the size of our regional library. We go as far north as Nassau and as far south as Sioux, and there's 39 branches, which is amazing. It serves a population of 430,000 people, which is a large area to look after. The other point that I'd like to make now, too, is our contribution to Vancouver Island Regional Library, and that is for the year of 2016. The Comox taxpayers will be an amount of $601,245 towards our regional library, which is another interesting fact. Next is, oh yes, I visited the Element condo site. The proposed Element condo site was well attended while I was there. They have some wonderful food, and of course they're very enthusiastic about making their sales. I had the pleasure of being invited to a BIA meeting, and it was excellent. I must admit, there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of great things are going to be happening there, but I'll leave that up to Councillor McKinnon to speak. Yes, or not. I got you on my mind.
Yeah. Shoot me down for something.
Yes, there you go. And solid waste.
Gets under our skin and our bones.
Solid waste, we had a special meeting which dealt with, first of all, asbestos and all hazardous materials. That is a big concern for solid waste. What we know for a fact is that we have three choices as for disposal. One is Campbell River, another one in Victoria, Heartland Landfill, and the other in Nanaimo. It was easy to decide that Campbell River was going to be the least expensive of the three, and as far as should it be Campbell River or Comox Valley, the reason Campbell River was chosen because they have trained personnel, they have the space, and they have the special locations. So on the short to mid-term disposal, it looks as though that's where hazardous waste will be going. Also, probably everyone saw this in the newspaper, Waycor has received the contract to build our number 1 senior cell at the landfill for a cost of $5.8 million. And Maple Reindeer Incorporated received the contract for design and construct for the leachate treatment facility for $7.4 million. Also, just a little footnote that was mentioned at the meeting, and that is that organics are the primary source of our leachate. And our goal to remove organics from the landfill by 70% obviously is going to have a big influence on the density of that leachate, just a little footnote. And last but not least, again, of course, is Comox seniors. They're very, very busy. You probably noticed there's old sinks in the entranceway there. They have a big plan, and yeah, it's going to be exciting when it's all finished. But that leads me to one point that I'd like to share, and that is, twice this week I've heard the words, we really appreciate the assistance the town of Comox has given us. The first one was with the seniors, and the second one was at the BIA meeting, and it was great. That's it. Thank you.
I do have a question for Councillor Grant. So with hazardous waste, so does that mean we have to bring it to Campbell River, or do we drop it off at the landfill here, and then it's all trucked up there, or how is it?
I think the detail of that is yet in the making.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, Councillor Swift, we have to take it up ourselves, but I heard also chatter that I'm not sure of.
No.
It's going to be some time before it's going to be activated.
Yeah.
So for the time being, it's all going to Victoria.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Kim.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to ask Council's indulgence. I've got a written report here of my duties as acting mayor in September, and then I realized that I don't write very well with my cats. So I'm going to try to translate this, so forgive me if it takes a little longer deciphering it here. A couple of weeks ago, and I didn't mention this in August, last time I attended a Comox Valley Transit frequent transit and corridor study, and with some of our town staff and our executive director of the BIA. One of the key things that was mentioned is that the recommendation by 2018 was to increase the frequency routes to Comox. It was the recommendation, as well as the frequency of times during certain runs, which is a good thing. And also the recommendation, which I understand having called today, is that some of this has been implemented, that some smaller vans are to be used at some routes at certain times rather than full-size buses. And that's all a win-win, I think, for Comox businesses and for the town of Comox. And hopefully that comes to fruition even earlier than 2018. I did attend the Element Condo Open House. Also, represented the mayor at the International Student Welcome on September 11th at at the downtown Courtenay. And the large number of international students that come to the valley is not only, was pointed out, it's not only good for the economy, but also for global understanding, for networking, and for sharing. And it's much appreciated by our community, and happy to see so many of them there that day. Attended on September 13th the Comox Valley Social Planning Committee meeting. September 14th the Homeless Coalition. September 16th I participated in the CFP Comox's Terry Fox Run. I went intending to go on a bike ride as they had last year, but there was no bike ride, so I had to run in a 10-kilometer race and can barely walk even today, a week later. But it was very successful and a great turnout of people at the CFP Comox. Kudos to them for putting on that event every year. Represented the mayor at the the 125th anniversary of the Hiram Lodge here locally, along with Mayor Jangula and Mayor Baird. And I'm very pleased to present this gift to you, Mayor Ives, from the Hiram Lodge. I'll pass it on to you. I'm sure you'll
want to open that?
Oh, here.
So we're very proud to be celebrating their 125th anniversary. Almost done, folks. September 20th, attended the BIA meeting along with Councillor Grant. Councillor Grant alluded to it, but the town of Cobourg staff was particularly commended for two things: for the signage repair at the town circle, and in particular for the immediate attention to some graffiti that was done locally at town business. And it highlighted again that the appreciation for town staff. So I'd ask our CEO please to pass that on. That was very much appreciated by the DIA. And before I go into my last item, it's September, and we had talked a couple of months ago about reinitiating this opportunity, and that was with councillors. And I'm going to suggest that councillors consider two dates. That is this coming Saturday, the 24th. Councillor Arnott mentioned that Saturdays might be better for him, or the following Saturday, October 1st, for 2 hours at the Comox Mall, which is getting lots of attention these days. And I'll just leave that for thought right now and see if there's interest in that. Again, it's just a listening. The idea is to sit at a table, listen to any citizens that have questions or concerns for council. I'll carry on. I've got two more items and I'm almost done, Your Worship. There are three upcoming items, three events, I should say, that are open. We've been invited to as councillors, and I'm wondering if we might consider having one or two of us go, rather than all of us have to go and share the wealth, so to speak. One is September 29th is the first one. CBEDS is putting on a fall for a tourism industry workshop, and that's one. October 6th, the Comox Valley Chamber of Commerce has a Take the Floor workshop. There are charges for these workshops, by the way. October 13th, there is a BIA-sponsored marketing workshop at the Lower Blackfin, which is free of charge. I'm wondering if we might consider that, council might consider that, and let each other know if somebody is going.
What I would suggest is that you work with Secretary Twyla. If people are interested, usually she sends that email out and then people can express interest back rather than trying to figure it out tonight.
Yeah.
Typically, if anyone wants to go to those things, they're not on charges at most, so you're free to go to them. Just arrange that through Twyla.
I'm going to the tourism one anyway because I'm speaking at this thing.
Okay, so we can, maybe if you let Twyla know that, she can comment. She
sends emails out to let people know, and then you just respond.
That would make it easy.
That's the most efficient way.
Thank you, and that's my lengthy report, Your Worship.
Councillor Brooks?
Yes, and I too have heard from the community kudos to our staff how quickly they cleaned up after the beaches cleaned out and the crosswalks. So just like to pass that on. I did attend at the Comox First Nations Big House a speech, a workshop by MP, and actually it's by Romeo, and I didn't write down his surname, my apologies. But interesting how he got his name Romeo, because he's a First Nations MP. And he was speaking on Bill C-262, and which is a private member's bill on First Nations. I also went to the AVICC, or chaired the AVICC Island Corridor Foundation special meeting where the AVICC report was presented on, with recommendations on how we can improve what we already have. I attended the Sewage Commission, Water Committee, Sports Commission, and the Committee of the Whole at the RD. I've got a few notes here. The Water Committee, we the Comox Lake water treatment study was presented by Opus Dayton and Knight Consultants, and they recommended a deep water lake intake with direct filtration and UV. And the UV will hopefully reduce the amount of chlorine that has to go into the system. That's the anticipation. It narrowly passed, so it's very nearly defeated. It does have, it is a $100 million price tag. However, it is a good time to look for grants now. The Clean Water and Wastewater Fund, Joint Provincial and Federal Fund will be announcing in the next 12 weeks on that. So, and I have got the rates here that they would be depending on whether we get 0 grants up to 75%. If we do get a 75% grant, there's very little change in the water rate. We do have a September the 2019 deadline for achieving filtration by Ireland Health because our deferral was taken off, and it is considered that we may be able to make the deadline now the decision's been made. At the Sports Commission, we did allow a temporary storage for the Glacier Kings in a storage trailer. One day they want to have their own room. That financially that's not working at the moment. It would be funded by the group, not by the regional district. And yes, the Committee of the Whole, we reconfirmed our auditors. The information systems documentation, which Brian Pearson has been working on, which is a way, so because we have so many different systems out there, and if anything goes wrong, then you need to be able to get it up and running very quickly. So he has worked out a system, and also which is other people can put the system back together again. So if Brian isn't there, it is still it's still a quick process, and it's actually up for award at UBCM. And we did talk a bit about the regional office project, which on the school board land, and Courtney land, and sharing with MOTI and the school district. So that is moving on with the anticipation of construction mid to late 2017 and with an early 2019 completion date. So we'll be out of the leasing situation we've been in for many years. The Woodstone Exchange Program is proposed to be expanded, and we have an application in, we're putting an application in for up to 20,000 from the Provincial Woodstone Exchange Program, and it will also include an incentive, an additional $750 for wood stove conversion to heat pump. And so that was those meetings, and at the board meeting yesterday we did confirm those decisions. And I don't know if you want to talk about the extras that we did at the board. I've got a note on the
Which extras?
Well, I'm sure there's some extras in there.
well, we did talk about the Royston situation and looking at other sources of water from Royston other than Cumberland. So that would be working with Courtney to hook into where their system comes to the boundary.
And we also talked about the possibility of non-potable water for farming use. And those are really electoral service area things, but because there's so few directors, they actually have to come to us for approval. So we don't get all the details on all those. That's why I'm not really sure what 100% what we're doing, but we don't have enough members. It needs to come to the board to be ratified. That's what's going on.
And just it's interesting because they are wider issues that will come across. And so, and the last thing was the AVICC teleconference.
Councillor Grant.
Oh, you want me to go? All right, well.
You're warmed up.
Well, all my thunder's been stolen, so I'll be really quick. We did pass the water treatment plant process at the cost of $105 million, and as Director Price or Councillor Price said, it was a very close vote. I'm not sure what would have happened had we not passed that, because we would have been in contravention of our water license, which would have put us in hot water, so to speak. And I'm really not sure what the plan was. I don't think there was one. So that was a bit of a scary moment, sitting at the board counting the votes, and they're weighted votes, and we're all kind of going, I don't know. And then if it doesn't work, you know, this is one of those issues that we have to do, love it or hate it, but it's one of those things that has to happen. I think people are sick and tired of boil water advisories, and they just want us to get on with making this happen. And this is what we have been mandated to do. So I'm not sure what the thought process was on the other side, but anyway, it did pass narrowly. So I also attended the Sewer Commission, Water Commission, Sports Commission, and Committee of the Whole, and the RD regular board meeting yesterday. I've been out the last couple of days working on our new sign project, which some of you saw today. We are putting the last few lettering on, so we should be good to go. And at the tourism conference, that will be when we officially unveil what we've done, not that we've got it hidden or anything, just trying to find out. The tarp would have to be too big. I also attended the Mayor's Golf Tournament and the Positive Aquaculture Golf Tournament. I also met with the owners of the mall the other day, and I attended a meeting regarding the water park.
Excellent. Councillor Ryan.
I think I'm just going to make a bunch of things up because you guys are making me feel insecure here. I've just got a couple things. I'll make it quick. I attended the Mayor's Golf Tournament, and no comments. And then
What'd you shoot?
and then the Wing Commanders Fall open house.
Thank you. Councillor Swift.
Okay, well, and I'll be quick too, because most of it's already been said, but I did attend the open house for the Element, and I'm hoping that it goes ahead this time, so let's keep our fingers crossed. I also attended the Sewage Commission meeting and the Solid Waste Management meeting, and lastly, I helped with the registration for the Terry Fox Run at City's Park on Sunday, and it was a great day and well attended.
Thanks. All right, so that's it for reports. Any questions from the media? Any questions from the one member of the public that's here? You have no further items. Motion to adjourn.
Move. Second.
In favor? Meeting adjourned. So there's this one. So there's a form that we need anyway.
Who's mayor?
Bringing back to the acting mayor